Yo, what up everybody? It's me, Fitness65. Today, just bringing you a new video. Now, today I was going to do my predictions for the Elimination Chamber, but heard some pretty interesting news today, and everybody's been making a lot of videos on it, so I thought I'd bring this topic. I thought I'd make a video as well about this topic, and the topic of this video is the WWE adding 4 new pay-per-views and getting rid of a couple other pay-per-views in place of the pay-per-views that they're replacing. And to me, it's just a pretty bad idea. And when you hear some of the names that I'm gonna be saying in this video, or the names that they're gonna have for their new pay-per-views, you'll probably just laugh. You probably just laugh your ass off. You'll probably just scratch your head like, what the fuck was the WWE thinking when they did this? But let's get started with this. The first pay-per-view that they got rid of and they're changing is Backlash. Now, they're changing Backlash into Extreme Rules, which is stupid because Extreme Rules should be sort of a June thing or whatever. Well, I'll talk about that later, but still, in my opinion, WWE shouldn't have got rid of the Backlash, as Backlash is one of the biggest WWE pay-per-views that they have. It's sort of like the aftermath of WrestleMania. Like, you get WrestleMania rematches, and it's always a pay-per-view that's always good. No matter what it has on there, it always delivers. And this is just a pay-per-view that I never seen bad things about or heard people talk bad about this pay-per-view. So to me, it was just a horrible idea for them getting rid of the WWE Backlash pay-per-view. But I guess they decided to do that, and now instead of Backlash being April, now it's going to be Extreme Rules, which doesn't make any sense at all. The second one on here that they added, the second pay-per-view that they added on here that's going to be replacing the Judgment Day pay-per-view. Now, really, the Judgment Day wasn't really that good of a pay-per-view. It was known for being a garbage pay-per-view. Pretty much, you can ask anybody and they'll tell you that Judgment Day is probably one of the worst pay-per-views of all time, because none of the matches ever deliver, and you might get maybe 1 or 2 good matches on that Judgment Day pay-per-view, and then sometimes the build is just horrible. They don't put much effort into the build, but yeah, they don't put much effort into the build, and it just ends up falling flat on its ass. So Judgment Day, I didn't mind them getting rid of, but the pay-per-view that they had replacing Judgment Day, and this just boggles my mind as I heard this when I watched a video or read it on a site of them talking about this. They're replacing Judgment Day with WildCard. This is just plain stupid. It just doesn't make no sense at all. As WildCard is sort of like what WCW did with the spin the wheel thing, or what Raw did maybe back in 2002, I believe, where they were doing that Raw roulette, where they would spin the wheel and it would determine what kind of matches what kind of stipulations will be added into the matches. And that's pretty much what this is going to be, as it's going to be almost what WCW was with the spin the wheel thing at Halloween Havoc, and the Raw roulette kind of thing at the Raw roulette thing from 2002. Pretty much the same thing, but they're turning this into a pay-per-view now, which is just dumb. And it's just, of course, just them spinning the wheel and determining what stipulations of the matches that are going to be added on the pay-per-view, what they're going to be. So it's pretty much going to be one of those unpredictability pay-per-view, one of those unpredictable pay-per-views where you don't know what match it's going to be, and you don't know what's going to happen at that pay-per-view during that or with the match. So pretty much, I just think that's just awful. It's just a terrible idea. And whoever came up with these ideas, to me, they just need to get shot, or they just need to get fired, because these are just terrible ideas. Then the third one, for June, they got rid of the Extreme Rules and One Night Stand, which they already got rid of One Night Stand last year, but they got rid of Extreme Rules, and Extreme Rules is going to replace Backlash, which I talked about in the beginning of the video. And the fourth pay-per-view that they added is going to be the Fatal 4-Way, which is going to be replacing the Bash. To me, I don't have a problem with the Bash being replaced, but look what they replaced it with. The name just does not sound good at all. It sounds horrible. Like what LV54 said in his video, and what many people are thinking in their head when they hear this. It sounds like something a 2 or 4-year-old came up with. Like there was no thought put into the idea for this pay-per-view name, as it just sounds so stupid and just ridiculous. Fatal 4-Way, like the main event's gonna be just a fatal 4-way matchup, and thus the name Fatal 4-Way. So it's just a horrible idea. I'm just trying to scratch my head, like just trying to figure out all these ideas like they came up with. Just stupid. I mean, it's like eating something good and then eating something that you think is good, but you end up getting this bad taste in your mouth and you can't really get it out. And that's what I think of when I think of these pay-per-view names that they added on here. And then finally the July pay-per-view that they replaced. Well, to me though, getting back to the pay-per-view before the one I'm gonna talk about now, to me, they should have just replaced the Bash with King of the Ring. Everybody wants King of the Ring back, and everyone knows that it's a stepping stone to SummerSlam. Like the winner will be able to face the champion at SummerSlam, sort of like how the old King of the Rings were like they should have just went with King of the Ring, like bring King of the Ring back and replace the Bash. But I guess someone in the WWE creative department decided that was a terrible or stupid idea, and they thought coming up with Fatal 4-Way was a better idea than King of the Ring, which is just plain stupid. And I'm just trying to figure out why they would come up with these names, or why they would have these pay-per-view names. It's just, oh my god, this is terrible. And then we go to the final one on here, which is July, which is going to be, instead of Night of Champions, it's now going to be Money in the Bank. I have a big problem with this. Like, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with Night of Champions being replaced, but to me, Money in the Bank should be a WrestleMania type of match, and it shouldn't be a pay-per-view name, because it takes that prestige away from Money in the Bank, and now Money in the Bank ends up having a pay-per-view, and thus what was the whole point of having the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, or having the Money in the Bank this year at WrestleMania? Just pointless. And now you're gonna have two winners of the Money in the Bank now, with the winner at the WrestleMania pay-per-view and then the Money in the Bank winner in the Money in the Bank matchup. Just a terrible idea. And I don't know, I just hope they don't go through with this, because it's bad. But if they do, they might as well just scrap Money in the Bank from WrestleMania and just, I guess, go with this whole Money in the Bank pay-per-view, because it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to have a Money in the Bank matchup, which they're going to be having some Money in the Bank qualifying matches, I guess, on Monday. So it'd be the best way to just scrap that and just, I guess, go along with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view if they're deciding to go along with that. It's just no sense of having two things at the same time. Just doesn't make no sense at all. And I thought the Money in the Bank was supposed to be more like a WrestleMania type of thing, but I guess WWE doesn't feel that way, so thus Money in the Bank is going to be a pay-per-view, I guess, if they decide to go with that. I mean, it's not confirmed yet if they're going to go with the Money in the Bank pay-per-view name, but knowing the WWE, they're probably going to go with it. But yeah, that's just pretty much my video talking about the WWE adding 4 new pay-per-views and just giving my thoughts on it. I think it's a horrible idea, and like I said again in the beginning of this video, whoever came up with these ideas ought to be fired, or just go right back to the drawing board, or be fired, pretty much be fired, or whatever. Yeah, pretty much be fired, because these are just terrible ideas and they just don't make no sense at all. And the names just terrible names, except for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view name. All the other names are just terrible and terrible concepts. Let's just hope that the November pay-per-view is going to be War Games, which it should be, and not some shitty ass pay-per-view for November. But yeah, that's pretty much my video talking about the 4 new pay-per-views that WWE added, giving my thoughts about the whole situation, and why, like I said, whoever came up with these ideas ought to be fired for it, for even bringing it to everyone's attention, and everyone who agreed with it, they ought to be fired too. Just thought I'd give my opinion on that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. You can rate, you can comment, give me your thoughts about the video. Give me your thoughts about the WWE adding these 4 new pay-per-views and getting rid of all the other pay-per-views. Give me your thoughts about that. And until then, thank you for watching. Rate, comment, and I'm out. And yeah, be sure to stay tuned for my my Elimination Chamber predictions video, which I might be doing either tomorrow or Saturday, most likely. But so yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's pretty much my video. Fitness65 out. Peace.